Welcome to another tutorial. This one is a little different than the Cinema 4D tutorials. This one is talking about architectural visualization and real-time visualization. So we're using Unreal's Twinmotion to achieve that. And just wanted to say up front, some of the great features of this are obviously that it's a real-time render, that it creates photoreal renders. It simplifies so many of the processes and cuts down on so much of the time that you're going to spend in other 3D modeling software programs like Cinema 4D and Max and Maya. And it just creates this intuitive interface to quickly, within a couple clicks, get modeling. The other great thing is that if you download the Epic Games launcher in your library, you'll be able to launch. I'm using 4.25, but you'll also be able to click the Twinmotion tab and download it, and it's an unlimited trial, and it still allows you to have all the functionality. It just limits the export size, but you still get 2K export resolution. And should you want to get a license now that it's been acquired by Unreal, it's still a very reasonably priced program, much cheaper than Lumion, and in my opinion renders much better. Plus it requires less storage on your PC. So we are using a PC for this. So I just want to show you, just jumping into the interface here. This is just me opening a completely blank project. So you're brought in, you've got this this photosphere here, this city background, and it doesn't look like there's much going on here. We have this stone tiled ground, but let's start playing with some settings right away. So up here in the upper left you have an arrow which you can quickly navigate to the full library. This is all provided by Quixel for free as well. So some quick changes that we can make just to show you how quick and easy this is. I'm just going to go into my materials and I'm just going to change my ground to a grass look. And that was 3 clicks, 3 seconds. Let's take this a little bit further. Down here on the lower left we have all these settings. If you click on here you can get this option to Vegetation Paint or Vegetation Scatter. So if I wanted to just quickly start painting in some trees, I can just drag one of these tree models in and I'll get this paint tool where I can change the diameter of it, and I can just paint an area where I want trees. I'm just gonna do something like that. Okay. And then once it's painted, we can just up the density if we want to make a little bit more of a dense forest. You'll notice we have these flashing green areas. That's only in the real-time render view. That's just showing you where you've painted. So when you actually export, you'll get, those will disappear and you'll get the full photoreal view that you want. If you wanted to change this out and add some other vegetation, let's say we want to just add some grass. There's all these great grass materials or models in here. We can do the same thing. We just paint a grass area just like that and up the density of it so it really looks filled in. Like if I drop down here, not only is the grass there, it's also animating with actual effects, which if you look to the right of the density, you can come in and you can adjust the size of the grass, the dryness. We've got a little grass patch or a couple of trees. Obviously there's a bunch of other things we can add. We have all this bush library, grasses, flowers. We can even come in here and add some rocks just by simply going here, dropping in a model. Same steps, painting. Very procedural, very easy. Just a couple clicks in the mouse. So going a little bit further here, you'll see in my upper right hand corner I've kind of created this scene graph. It's just my scene, and Later I'll be showing you how to bring in your own 3D models and what you can do with that. And with the simplicity is the same, whether you're bringing in FBX or whatever other file format. But for now, we're just using the assets that we have inside of here. But just so for your knowledge, this is all up here. You can even click on statistics and see, kind of what kind of frame rate things are operating at. So I'm still good to go. I'm in the green. This will slowly get bogged down the more assets we add, but depending on what kind of PC you have, I'm good for now, but I'm only using 8 gigabytes of RAM. I haven't upgraded this computer yet. So if we go down here to the lower left, to this little slider, we can do some pretty cool things. For one, we can mimic our lighting to the exact location that we're in. So we can pick anywhere in the United States, the lighting will change accordingly, and we can actually set our daytime and our month to mimic the exact, not the exact, but within 1 month calendar, the date that the lighting would be in that location. We can offset the lighting and depending on what angle we want, we can just basically rotate this thing. I guess this would be latitudinal, or just offset it around. And we can even bring in our own background if we want. So that's a pretty cool feature. And then another great feature to show you is just with the media function, we can capture all these different functions here. So if we want to capture an image, just click on that and click create image, and boom, I've already created an image. And now I just go to export and I look in my little library of created images and I select one, and I'll just click start export and export it to my render folder. And it takes maybe 10-15 seconds for this 2K, because I'm using the trial version, to render out. So if we look at what we get, just so you guys see the difference between the final and the render viewer that I was looking through, you can see all those green dots are gone, and we have a pretty photoreal image just with a couple of clicks. So just to help you get started, those are some of the basics. You can do a whole lot more, and some of the other cool things that if let's say you have an urban scene here, you can draw paths. Let's see here. You can draw a character path throughout the scene, and it's not working here. Hold on. Here we go. So I can just kind of draw a spline and connect it, and I can just set there to be people walking around in my scene. And you have all sorts of different functions. You can, if you want to for some reason, change the race. You can, if you're doing like an office scene render, you can change these people to represent that. You can up the width so that they're walking in a social distance path, I guess. You can up the density so you get a lot more people walking in that path, create a much more vibrant city scene. Or you can just turn it off altogether and just have them all chilling out. So that's pretty cool. And then in our urban settings here, this is where we can actually use I believe OpenStreetMap. And what that means is that you can actually, I'm not going to do it now, but you'll be able to bring in an actual area, and it will compute all the 3D geometry for you from a specific location. So that's pretty incredible. So I might crash here, but if I click grab, it's going to go through this process of downloading from OpenStreetMap all of the height maps from that area and cleaning it up for you and creating geometry based on, I guess, this little riverside park in Wichita, and it's, for some reason it's way over here, but it's also because it's a large area. But now you have some real geometry, and if I picked like a Manhattan scene, for instance, I could bring in what downtown Manhattan looked like, and I could texture some of the buildings in close proximity to the building that I was doing architectural rendering for. So that's extremely powerful. If you're trying to do a really in-depth visualization, they might have to change the mouse speed because it brings it into scale and it makes it much bigger. But anyway, this has been kind of just a quick overview of Twinmotion. We'll be taking this a lot further in some of the upcoming tutorials, but I just wanted to give you a good introduction. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more and click that subscribe button. Thanks.